Welcome back to the Super Snake driving tutorial. In this segment I'll cover advanced driving tactics, and by advanced I mean irregular, perhaps awkward, and challenging. So what you see here, obviously the Super Snake is terrible in the dirt if you got it. Do not give it full throttle in the dirt, really in any circumstance, because it's just not going to work. It's going to skid. Notice how it wasn't turning my wheels. It did that all by itself. And when you do try and steer, that just makes it skid even more. The rear wheels just pick a side and it goes. I'll keep showing you. I really stretch this board out in more ways than one to make sure you guys really know what not to do in the Super Snake. Don't do anything that I'm doing right here. Nothing like, don't drive like that. Oh, what you should do, once you have your car in good position, just gently throttle it. Feather tapping. Hold it down for a little while, then release. Hold it down, then release. I'm sorry if this sounds so sexual, but that's just how you do it. If you're familiar with driving in Need for Speed, Hot Pursuit 2, that gives you a similar idea, feather tapping it. So, really, once you get onto the straightaways, you're good to go. Because the Super Snake, you want to keep it on as much straight road as you can, because if you do, it's going to fly. And let's see you're on the highway and you run into traffic. That's fine. The Super Snake is good. It's not as wide as you think it is. The hardest part is just finding gaps and just choosing them. See, on the Challenger, I got a gap, so you'll take it. So the Super Snake, it's got enough speed that you can actually beat cars across intersections as well, and also beat cars that are merging lanes. It's just important to pick a spot and go for it. I mean, you shouldn't really vacillate between staying in your lane or trying to zoom ahead, because more often than not, you'll be able to get past the traffic if you zoom ahead. So just hit the gas and pass cars if you're in doubt. And by hit the gas, I mean don't floor it unless you're above 60 miles an hour. That rule's already been established in the first video. So this video obviously assumes that you've seen the first one. And there I actually botched the turn a little bit. I was concentrating on trying to talk in my commentary than trying to apex brake properly. See, this car actually, especially in Algonquin, you have a lot of room on the road. You could probably fit a semi-truck in between those cars, because I was able to do it with an Enforcer tons of times. And then here I'm trying to find the road that I call the highway to hell, or the training road, I'll call it. It's that bridge that goes into Broker from Algonquin, and there I pulled the handbrake for a cinematic turn. Also because I didn't want to have to turn all the way around. So skidding with the car does have a use. That's just one limited use. Okay, here's how not to drive. Yeah, Romero! Yeah, backshot! Yeah, so fast. I can take these. Don't drive like this on the highway with the Super Snake. Don't do anything like this. Don't just go fast, because then they go, whoosh, you hit something, your rear wheels get loose. I'm trying to steer, no good. Boosh! Hit the wall. Now that last crash I didn't stage. I was trying to merge over, but the rear wheel just wouldn't turn. So I hit the wall and then bounced and I crashed. Don't drive like that. With the Super Snake, it's already really, really fast. You don't have to go balls to the wall to get from point A to point B in record time, because even driving like normally with this car, I use normally loosely here, driving what we'll call carefully with this car still gets you there fast. It gets you there faster, actually, because you don't jam your wheels. So when in traffic, try to stay into the left lane. Traffic moves a little bit faster in that lane, and especially if there's a slower vehicle like a bus in the other lane, that gives you a gap. Also, be careful of people like this white Vigoro who don't like to choose a lane, and they just keep cutting other people off. But I see a gap, go for it. And it's okay if you scrape a car here and there. That's okay. You're still keeping your speed up. Here's how not to drive in the oncoming lane. Don't just try and go through it in one go. Don't just push the pedal down and hope for the best, because this will happen. You'll crash. And actually, the reason I'm trying to steer over, but I can't, my wheels jammed and my other wheels basically locked up against the guardrail. Not fun. So I'll fix the car and show you how to drive properly in the oncoming lane. It really isn't that hard. There are a few tricks to it, actually. What do I do here? Actually, yeah, I didn't make a cut here. I'm just driving all the way back down. And actually, depending on what kind of vehicles are around you, like there's an ambulance or a fire truck, or even a police vehicle, and it has the lights on, that can be used to an advantage, because they'll make bigger gaps for you, because the traffic will obviously get out of the way. See, and just be careful when coming down off highways as well, because sometimes it hasn't happened very often, but it can happen with a car like this, with a firm suspension. Be careful coming down off ramps. Alright, so anyway, so we're on the highway here, we're cruising, keeping it in third gear so I can gun it if I need to get out of someplace. But you also want to decelerate a bit as you're coming over a hill, and also decelerate when you see cars coming. Especially a bus. Also, if you notice, if I decelerate and turn away from the car, they'll actually slow down and make room for me. You see it more later on. I was just practicing driving the wrong lane at high speed in this part. And there we go. Cut the handbrake and get her spinning. Let's see what I'm doing. See? Right there. That's when they do sometimes get out of your way. It's a bit hard to predict. You're better off just hitting the brakes and steering away. Hitting the brakes and steering away. Because you will keep your speed. You'll still get there fast. See? That Oracle and that Vigoro got out of the way. If they flash their headlights, that's usually a good sign. It's not very common that they actually swerve towards you. If they swerve towards you, you've done it wrong. You have to brake and then turn away. Not turn away, then brake. You gotta brake first. So, and then once you're on the straightaway, sky's the limit. So there you have it. I hope you now have a general idea on how to drive the Super Snake in both not so treacherous, basic city and highway driving, and treacherous dirt roads, oncoming traffic and narrow roads, and just narrow roads in general. If you can handle the Super Snake on all those conditions, there isn't a driver in Liberty City that can touch you in more ways than one.